all of you wherever you are on the faces of the world at this particular time of coronavirus and this great inconvenience that we're all going through called lockdown while we are dealing with this virus that we have. And while we are dealing with such problems, you know, life is difficult. Sometimes it becomes complicated because people end up placing themselves in compromised positions simply because they don't appreciate their knowledge systems and they don't respect the history from where we are coming from. Many of us, in terms of our education, have migrated away from African things to European things. And many of us look at our cultures with bad eyes because anything that is indigenous and organic and traditional is deemed as evil, as if that which is European is what is acceptable and what is good. At the end of the day, even our Christian experiences have started, if not continued, to lambast and continued to insult indigenous medicines. And when I spoke about these things some years ago, advising people that let's go back to our roots, let's go back to our indigenous medicines, let's go back to our organic foods, many people thought that I had lost my head and that I denounced the Christian faith, as if being a Christian means that you are healthier. Let us agree on something right on top of the program. One, that is our diet that we're eating. Either it is going to make us healthy or it is going to kill us. We need again to outline clearly that pharmaceutical companies are not in the business of health. They are in the business of selling medicine. Therefore, our sicknesses is health to them. And I want to clear something very critical, that how are medicines made? How do pharmaceutical companies make their medicines? Many of us might not have that privilege and opportunity to know how tablets and various vaccines and medicines end up on the shelves. I'm not a professional in that field, but just top desktop study will tell you that you go to the bushes, you go to nature, you go to the sea, you pick up some weeds, you pick up some enzymes, or you pick up some nutrients, or you pick up some minerals that are found in fish, that are found in grass, that are found in leaves, that are found in roots. Then they take them to the laboratory and then they play around with them in the laboratory. They mix them up and etc. And they find what we call an active ingredient. After they find the active ingredient, then they establish the chemical composition of that ingredient, either to reproduce it in the laboratory as a tablet or continuously harvest it from the natural habitat so that it can actually become part of the medicines that are being sold onto the market. Many of you have seen this product, they call it aloe, and the aloe vera products, a whole range of products, from soaps to toothpaste to mixtures and concoctions and cocktails that people are drinking for various medicinal purposes. Indigenously and traditionally, where we're coming from, we used to use the same aloe to treat our cattle for worms, and our grandmothers would give us some of this aloe stuff to be drinking while we were young, so that we could clean up our systems and clean up our bodies and be ready for every season that was changing. That's how our grandmothers used to treat us in the days past. Now, you find that in the modern cities, in the modern lifestyles, and in this midst of civilization, we've now come to look at all raw materials which are organic as demonic and evil, only when they are packaged into these nice little capsules and they are put into packages. And all of a sudden, voila, then please, can I take 3 tablets 2 times a day or 3 times a day? And people are excited to be drinking these tablets. But if you go back to find out these tablets, some of them, there's nothing more than roots and leaves that have been grounded and pounded together and put nicely in capsules with a barcode on them, then they're being sold. The issue of health, therefore, must be discussed not in terms of medicine, but health must be discussed in terms of food. What do we eat initially? Because that determines our food. Disease, which they call disease, it simply means disease. What have you been exposed to? And what are the consequences of that exposure, which causes disease? That's why indigenous medicines are actually good, because they are not only prescriptive to the particular disease, but they're trying to look deep into the root cause of that disease. As a layman, I've read and I've watched quite a lot of videos by Dr. Selby and many other indigenous and organic homeopathy specialists who have lots of information in the space of diet. I would not have enough knowledge to be talking about European countries. I only visited them, but I can talk about the African space. That our diets are either split into two. They are split into what we call acidic foods, or they can be alkaline foods. Acidic foods are those that have all these artificial sugars, all these fuzzy drinks that we are eating, and all these pizzas with lots of cheese and etc. that are causing lots of problems for us in the modern society. In fact, to say the least, these could actually be the source of many cancers and various complications of disease that we have. Worse when it comes to refined foods. Refined foods, the body cannot digest them. They end up locked and clogged up in our colons, causing, in other words, when you eat food that is roughage, it is easy to move through the colon and your body is able to digest it quickly. But these refined foods, soft foods as I might want to call them, they take longer as they are sitting in our colon, causing actually poisoning of the body. And remember, you have two brains, one that is in your head, the second brain is that which is in your stomach. So you need to ask yourself the question. It's not only the information that you're putting in your head. Secondly, it is what kind of food are you putting in your stomach? And many of the problems that we are facing in terms of the human body, one of the first culprits we need to start having a clear conversation about is our stomachs, as to what goes into our stomach. That's a factory of the body where various nutrients and foods are digested and chemicals are mixed there as the body is absorbing what it can take and throwing away what it does not want. Now, when you put poison into the second stomach, what you eat is what you become. That's where that concept comes into place. What you eat is what you become. The alkaline diets will include most of the citrus fruits, our garlics, our gingers, and lots of the chlorophylls in terms of the vegetables that are full in the fields. And when these vegetables, because they're coming from the ground, they're organic. Remember, you also come from the ground. You're made out of the soil. So in other words, you're just combining the nutrients that are in the ground to replenish them into your body. And for that reason, therefore, because they are organic and they're coming from the ground, your body can digest almost, if not all, natural foods, natural fruits, natural roots, and natural leaves and barks of trees and etc. and the seeds of these plants. And your body can deal with that because you're organically designed. You're not synthetically designed. You're organically designed. You're not genetically modified. You are a human being because you are made out of genuine material that is coming from the ground. You cannot underestimate, therefore, the issue that modernity and civilization is bringing lots of GMOs, genetically modified foods, that have been tampered with. This talks of the seedless grapes, seedless watermelons, seedless lemons, seedless oranges, seedless this and seedless this. And you begin to look into these things. It means, therefore, that when these things don't have seeds, they don't have life. Because life is in the seeds. And many of you, by now, you now know that we want to eat the avocado and we throw away the seed. Do your own research. Actually, the seed of the avocado is far much more healthier than the avocado itself. The question is, what do we do with the seeds? And how do we eat things that don't have seeds? Is it possible, therefore, that actually food can be used to manage human reproduction? Can food be used as a way of managing the human bodies? Yes, the answer is true. What do you think and what do you expect when you are eating things that don't have life in them? How do you think you'll have life also? This speaks to the vegetarian diets. I know many of us, we like our chickens, we like our beef, we like our lambs. We kill these animals and we eat them. Fine, they taste very nice. But after they've tasted very nice, the question is, what life do you find in dead things? Is it healthier to eat dead things or to eat living things? It cannot be argued, even from the medical space, that the very first time or the time when you get sick and you get in a hospital, any good doctor, the first thing they do when you sit on their bench and they begin treating you, they will remove milk from your diet. They remove cheese from your diet. They remove meat from your diet. They remove fuzzy drinks and all these acids from your diet. They take you back to water and genuine foods. Why? Because these extra foods and ones that I've mentioned, but a little, and also they cut out alcohol from your diet. If you're smoking, they may even advise you to cut down on all those things. Why? Because they're trying to set the body to factory settings. They're trying to set the body back to its organic structures Some of you have done more anatomy than I have. You can even look at the shape of the teeth of the human being. Are they shaped like a dog? Are they shaped like a hyena? Or they are shaped like a donkey and a cow? When you're looking into these teeth, we only have these four teeth on the sides, which are incisors, which we can use for eating meat. But the rest of our chewing system is almost like a grinding mill, so that when you put seeds on them, actually your teeth are able to grind this food and make it healthy for your own body. So we don't need even to study much further than just for us to understand the anatomy of the human body and see other animals that are within our space. Animals such as baboons and monkeys and etc. And see how these animals are anatomically designed and what type of food does a gorilla eat. Look how big they are. Look how strong they are. And by the way, you can compare also the lifespan of an ox and the lifespan of a lion. A lion lives shorter and oxen live longer. So the question is, what diet is actually good and healthy for the human body? Therefore, I want to recommend, do your own research also. Study the works of Dr. Selby and find out how do you convert your diet from an acidic diet to an alkaline diet and balance it as it were. I'm not saying cut off all acids, but you need to balance, because once you put too much of the acidity in your body, actually bacteria and viruses seem to thrive more in an acidic environment, including cancer. But it has been proved again, though your doctors will never tell you, that cancer cannot survive in an alkaline diet. What am I saying? Drink lots of water with lemons, drink lots of waters with garlics and gingers, and these are the things that are easily found within our homesteads. And therefore, traditionally speaking, indigenously speaking, it will be difficult for me as a minister to begin to talk in the 20th century and tell our members that our health is not in pharmaceutical companies. Our health is found in our kitchens, is found on our tables, is found in our gardens. You can't be having big yards like we have here and planting lots of grass. You need to cut some of this grass, convert it into gardens so that you can get fresh vegetables from your own gardens and make them part of your diet. Make your fruit punches, make your smoothies, mix up your own concoctions in the house, drink these things and eat them. This is what health is all about. You don't have to wait until you are sick, then you are looking for tablets. You must be healthy throughout. So not only in terms of the food that you are eating, correct methods of hygiene. This will be important for you to know that some cultures have actually taken it as a tradition that when you're entering a house, you must remove your shoes. People go, oh, well, we cannot do that. You look like you're a sangoma and you're a witch doctor. No, take advice from a fool. Right now, with the diseases that are coming, we need to know also that we cannot bring bacteria and viruses from the ground outside our homes onto the carpets of our homes. Many of us have houses that have carpets. Now look at you. People spit on the ground. People put saliva on the ground. Now you step on coronaviruses. You step on anthrax viruses. You step on various viruses. You walk into your house with your shoes, straight into your dining room, which has a carpet, and your children are crawling on the floor, and they're dropping food on the floor, and they're eating the food. What do you think your children are feeding on? Actually, these houses that have carpets are not healthy. This is a fact you need to understand. Not only are we talking about the paintings of our houses, though they look modern and good, but organic paints, remove the carpets from your houses, put wooden floors, put clean floors, and keep bacteria away, and leave your shoes at the door. Those of you who have done the Bible a little bit, you know, it's for that reason that when you're entering a sanctuary, you would not enter with your shoes. You needed to take off your shoes and wash your feet and wash your hands. Now, had the church taught the Bible correctly, by now when these coronaviruses are coming, it should not have been difficult. Now it will look like we're following Muslims when we begin to tell members to remove their shoes and wash their hands at the door, simply because the place of worship cannot be infested with bacteria. I cannot overemphasize it. The Bible tells you also that in the Bible itself, when Jesus was born in the manger, which had lots of bacteria and viruses in the air, if you believe in the Bible, guess what they brought? They brought gold, they brought myrrh, and you didn't hear me well, they also brought frankincense. Why frankincense? So that they can sanitize the air. And you tell people in 20th century, frankincense, these are basic things that are in the Bible. Not only at the birth of the Yeshua, you also find that even in the sanctuary itself, there was an altar of burnt incense, so that the whole atmosphere of the house of worship would be sanitized. And therefore you look at the way you're eating, you look at how do you sanitize the places that you are living in. Again, I'll give you another tip. You don't go around the whole town shaking hands and meeting people, bumping on various energies. From there straight into your house, boom, you sleep on your bed with your wife, with your husband. Basic hygiene. Take off your clothes, put them on the side, go wash yourself, clean up yourself, remove all the various energies and the bacteria that you are accumulating in the day, wash your hair, wash your face and etc., wash your hands and scrub yourself. Then begin to greet and hug and kiss the people that are important to you. For me, these are basic hygienic principles that we need to start learning and inculcating them into our lifestyles so that they become the culture of cleanliness. And cleanliness, as they say, some people, is next to godliness. And if you think that you can become a prayer warrior, you are in trouble, because you cannot break health principles and you are hoping that you will pray and God must answer your prayer and cure your diseases. Some, if not most of the diseases, are caused by breaking health principles and negligence. Therefore, you need to be healthy in what you are eating. You need to be healthy in how you are handling yourself. Not only cleaning up and washing up yourself. We have it in our own traditions also. Guava leaves are readily available. Eucalyptus leaves, a bit of camphor here and there. And whatever you use in terms of steaming, put a big bucket of water and sit there when you don't feel nice, or been in a place you think bacteria are stuck in your nose, cover yourself with some Vicks and etc. Put the whole family in this thing. We grew up doing this thing. My grandmother would put a stone in the fire and then put it here and take a big blanket and throw us there and put some things on top of those rocks there and would smoke ourselves and steam ourselves out of diseases. Now, in the midst of becoming Christian, I think we've thrown away the baby and the dirty water. In the midst of us accepting this concept of Jesus, we've thrown away even health principles that have nothing to do. I fully understand when spirituality and indigenous medicines meet and our bonds are being cast and spirits are being evoked. That's a discussion for another day. But for today, I just want us to look at what are the acceptable, healthy methods that we can all implement in our own lives as a method of survival. In the case that you cannot find any good medicines and you feel there's an itchy or your nose are irritated by bacteria that are in your nostrils, what do you lose? You take a little bit of Vicks and put it on your nose will start running and blow up your nose. For me, these are basic hygienic things. So over and above the steaming, over and above the bathing, over and above the incenses in the houses and removing your shoes and washing your feet, these are actually the health principles that the Africans always know. When you come to my village, before we even greet you, the first thing that we do is to give you some water to drink. Therefore, it's important that you also drink water as much as possible, so that if there's anything that is trapped within your mouth, etc., push it into the stomach. Basic health principles are not demonic at all. And I don't know what has happened to the Africans to think that everything that is European, it is actually good, and everything that is African, it is demonic and it is evil. For that reason, you cannot wait until you get to the hospitals. Some basic things can be found in the places where we are living. Do your own research. Do your own research. Find out how best. Get yourself a book of organic medicines. Get yourself a book of herbal treatments. Get this book in your space so that when you go to the shops to buy your food, you don't just buy food. You buy herbs so that when you're cooking, you put these things inside. I mean, don't you know the Indians, when they cook, they just go to the garden and get all the bushes and shrubs and put them in there. When you're eating Indian food, you find barks of trees there and bitter seeds and what and what. It works for them. It works for them. And also as Africans, we have our own ways of preparing our own foods. And by the way, some of you are scared of bacteria. Nothing wrong. Don't fear bacteria. In the olden days, we used to cook our food and eat. And then we leave some of the food to sleep overnight. Then in the morning when we wake up, we start there eating that food. And we eat our rotten milk, quote unquote. We eat all these things that's maheu, that have been rotting for 2, 3, 4, 5 days because they have active bacteria. Healthy bacteria that the body can actually eat and activate the various defense mechanisms that are found in the body. Yes, I know you like your hot food, but hot food it's dead. It's dead food. The cooler it is, the fresher it is, the less cooked it is. Most likely, the more healthy that food is actually. So it is important, therefore, in the midst of these coronaviruses, again we come to another critical part. How do you boost your immune system? Get another book again and learn how you can actually build your immune system. 1 ball of garlic Apparently, it is far much more than 10 to 15 injections of vaccination injections. One ball of garlic. So take some of these things, crush them and mix them with other foods that you're eating so that your immune system becomes healthy. There's no better time to tell the African to look backwards, to look where we are coming from. Collect as much of our old information as possible so that you can actually be able to preserve yourselves. And some of you women who are going to be delivering children, it's not always about getting yourself cut and all these things. Do the old style. When you're pregnant, stand back a bit, take a nice long leave, get your midwiferys in your own spaces. Giving birth to children is not a sickness. Cows and goats do it every day on the bush with no help at all. Therefore, children must be born correctly. And when you are not stressed and you are sitting properly in correct support systems, you should be able to deliver your child naturally as much as possible. Right now, the more technologies of water births and etc. and indigenous midwives, which comes in handy. And after that, our old women, after they've delivered, they would tie up their stomachs and put ropes and cloths around them, and the women's bodies would come back to condition. But in modern days now, because of scissor sections, they cannot even tie those stomachs. One child later, the stomach is this big, the woman has lost her shape. A few months later, the husband is beginning to look at other things, quarreling, they're not talking, but they are not, the man is looking and saying, you no longer look like the woman that I married. And some of these problems are simply being created because people are undermining indigenous knowledge systems. It cannot be overemphasized that the coronavirus has actually come to us with lots of wake-up calls, ringing siren bells on every side. And the loudest I hear is the one that says, let the African child go back to his indigenous food. Let the African child go back to his natural drink. Let the African child go back to planting his own food, eating his own food. I also want to emphasize the importance of organic seeds, those traditional seeds we find in the village. Don't always be buying seeds, because these seeds that our forefathers used to use, they have been carried from one generation to another, and they are healthy in themselves. And we cannot be sitting around waiting for Fendamerve and the wet to be busy planting food for us, putting chemicals, putting, even these chickens, I am afraid of them. They poke these things on the wings here with medicines and injections. 8 weeks later, a chicken is on your plate. You call that a chicken? I don't call that a chicken at all. I know a chicken. A chicken is the one you cannot chew the bone. If you chew the bone, you break your own teeth. That's a genuine organic chicken. That's the free rangers, they call them, organic chickens that we can eat. So we cannot always be in a fast food space, fast food. Fast remotes, everything you must press a button and things must happen immediately. I'm sorry to say, our modern generation is actually considering profit above people. And if you're not careful, you're going to spend all your money buying the foods and spend your retirement in hospitals, fixing the problems because you'll have dug your own grave with your own teeth. The question is, as Africans, do we have things that our forefathers used to do? Do we have things that are still happening in the village? Do you wake up in the morning and still eat your sour porridge and mdoho and stuff like that? Do you still find it appetizing to eat genuine mroho with a bit of peanut butter and etc.? Do you still find comfort in eating real food cooked properly? And rather than you always being excited about these soft foods which come with lots of garnishings and plastic food. And let me tell you the honest truth. If we are not careful, they are feeding us this side, and the pharmacists and the hospitals are waiting this side. Therefore, what is your life? Your life is working hard and move money to the right, and the rest of the money you move it to the left. Listen to me carefully. Life is about the quality of your life. It's the quality of your life, not the amount of money you're making. Your health is your wealth. Without good health, even the richest man is poor. Your health is in your hands. Take responsibility for what you eat, for what you drink, for what you put on, where you sleep. Sanitize yourself, be healthy, be alive. You cannot enjoy money no matter how many millions you have if your health is in a bad condition. What more can we say to the Africans who have gone to school and have been taught to hate their own African culture? I'm calling you back. I'm calling you back. Stop chewing chappies. Swallowing saliva after saliva with nothing that is in that saliva for the whole day, just chewing and chewing and chewing. Find better things that you can chew. Find better things that you can actually drink. Find better things that you can actually eat and be healthy. Be healthy. It has been proved actually that the healthier the food, the cheaper it is. The healthier the food, the cheaper it is. Water is the cheapest, yet the most expensive liquid that you can drink in your own body. But many of us would rather be concocting things and knocking glasses and champagnes and etc., getting ourselves intoxicated and etc., which is not healthy. I am making a call here on Farmers of Thought that there's nothing more important. And remember, the quality of your food determines the quality of your mind. Feed your mind with the correct foods. Activate your body to become healthy. There's nothing more important you can do in this life but to develop a good, healthy body. Your health is in your hands. What are you going to do about it?